Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great day out there today. We got some big news that just broke probably within the last couple minutes. Yes, it is true. Iran has launched drone attacks against Israel. And yeah, we're going to talk about it. We got some things to discuss. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Before we get started, if you could do me a favor, like this video, share this video a bunch of times so everybody can see it and we can break that algorithm. Casey, Anthony, what's up, bro?
Not much. I'm trying to still kind of do some research on what's going on right now. This just furthers my belief that this is not, I know that you could say people clap back on genocide, but this to me is even further evidence that this is just war. Israel has been protecting themselves for decades, and here we are. And it's just not, this is not a genocidal situation. The fact that the world has had so much support for Palestine, I think this is where we've come to. And I think this is the problem.
Yeah, I feel you. Casey, what you think?
Yeah, and when it comes down to this entire thing, like I saw it and I saw some videos going around last night. I couldn't vet them. I didn't vet them to see if they were actually what happened. But when I saw it come through, I was like, wait a minute. All right, well, here we go. But the bigger problem that I see in this entire scenario is I want to know how in the hell they pulled off October 7th, but we can't even get drone strikes in. Because Israel countered it and stopped it midair, blew up everything. They weren't able to get to anything on the ground.
Yeah.
How did October 7th happen then?
It was an inside job.
Yep.
It had to be.
And I don't know if it's Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't know who it was. It's somebody in the Israeli government wanted a reason to destroy Palestine. I understand that. Is that mine 100%. Making that noise? Sorry.
You know what's scary about it all though is if, let's say that one of those drones make it through and accidentally hits a United States embassy or some type, any American, because you heard what Biden said. You heard what he said. Don't. You know what I'm saying? So check it, man. If they do end up doing that, there's going to be a reason. As you know, our country, you know, especially with the people that are in office right now, they are warmongers. You know, this isn't a Trump administration. This is not a Trump administration trying to keep people out of wars. They're looking for the next big thing. And especially, you know, and I know people are like, yo, World War III might be on the horizon. You might be right. But the scary part about it is, let's say that it does happen. And then you have an avenue for Biden to actually stay in office.
100%.
That's what happens when you have these major conflicts, right? They are everybody knows this, that the game is if a country enters into some major conflict with another country, they don't generally want to change hands in the middle of a conflict. And so that you will always see this being pounded during wars when you already know Joe Biden's done. There is no way he is going to win this election.
Yep.
So how can they try to solidify it? And they just got to pull whatever strings they can. They called their friends in Israel to try to do something. And that is where probably the inside job came from.
I think this is far bigger than the presidency, just because, again, this starts with Ukraine. This starts with tension overseas. This then leads to I mean, there was a conflict even when Trump, I mean, there's a conflict always between Israel and Palestine and that part of the world, but then it's been hyper accelerated in 2021 when Biden came in office. There was that one incident that I mean, there was a war. We had correspondents there actually showing bombs going back and forth, and it was a huge issue. And then here we are with what happened on October 7th. Was it a inside job? It has to be. Now, you're bringing up the bombs being intercepted and the Iron Dome and all that stuff. And to be honest, what people don't understand, and this is why I continue to say, go piss on yourself when it comes to genocide being the terminology used, is there. If you talk to people from Israel, you will constantly hear about there's missiles and bombs coming once every week, 2 weeks, where the Iron Dome catches those bombs. Again, they've had to deal with people encroaching on their region for a long time. The difference between the Iron Dome and what happened on October 7th is it was underground. It was not the same as shooting things out of the sky. It's very, very different. Was it an inside job? With the intelligence that Israel has, it had to be. But what are we seeing now? Because there's people in the United States, Israel, Middle East that profit off of wars. Cash said it. Casey said it. They're warmongers in politics, not just in the United States, but everywhere.
All over the world. Yeah.
Because the global elite makes money and they also gain control when there is a war. So now we are seeing the next level of escalation. That is what happens now that we've talked about Iran forever. The fact that Iran is on the side of Palestine should always make you a little leery about using the word genocide. Iran's got them. So fact of the matter is, this is where we are. We are at the next level of escalation. We still have the Ukrainian conflict going on. And now we've got what looks to be an actual war now that could be brewing between Iran and Israel. And if that happens, welcome to World War III. Welcome to an issue with our own presidential election. Welcome to us entering war, having to be behind Israel, which, trust me, as somebody that is anti-Palestine in many ways, I am not pro-Israeli government. It puts us in bed with all the wrong people. This is the worst thing that can happen. And I'll end it with this. I'll land my plane and say the problem with all of this has been the messaging, because now they know that this is going to divide people even more, because they've got the messaging that Israel is bad, Israeli people are bad, this is genocide, and now all of a sudden everybody's going to be taking a side. And at the end of the day,
you're going to see Americans standing with Iran. That's the next thing we're going to see. Watch, mark my words.
America won't side with Iran.
No, not America. I'm talking about regular Americans on all these different social media platforms. They're going to be like, "Oh, I stand with Iran." And when they say why, that's been one of our enemies for forever. They're going to say, "Oh, because I stand with Palestine."
Exactly.
That's going to be the thing. Mark my words.
Exactly.
Dude, it's already happening. It's already happening. Let me pull it up real quick and show you.
This is crazy already. Then this is nuts.
Let's see. I want this one. There we go. So if you look at this here, this is some random guy. Drop a like if you stand with Iran.
Jesus.
See, this is insane.
And you guys wonder, and I love you guys, but you wonder why I stood so hard against the verbiage. That verbiage of genocide, and I just did this on a post the other day, that verbiage of genocide it's going to lead to more division. I was okay with crimes against humanity or war crimes. That's part of war. But genocide is going to allow this kind of behavior, and that's why I said it was that dangerous of a terminology.
No, you were right. You were right, and I've switched my stance the more that I pay attention to it and see what's actually going on over there. There's a brother that I follow on X that we had on. He came on and talked about it, so I've been watching his stuff and I've been paying attention to it, and I'm like, okay, or maybe we did jump the gun a little bit. It's not a genocide. This is war, and it's war crimes. That's for sure. War crimes are being committed, but it's not one side. It's both sides. And it kicked off by Palestine, but with Hamas. It kicked off with Hamas doing some real sadistic, nasty stuff, to even lead us to where we are right now. So to see Iran, which we already knew that Iran was funding Hamas. We already knew that. We knew that Iran was in bed. Yeah, exactly. We know that they're in bed with all these different terrorist cells and terrorist groups that do the things that they do against different countries, especially Western countries like the United States. But what's crazy is that it can be World War III because of this act right here. This is only the first. If that's what they did right now and they seen this, it's all getting shot down, you better believe there's going to be more coming, and it might be even other sides, because what is it, Lebanon with Hezbollah and all of that.
Yeah,
we have to worry about that front. And Israel's they're literally surrounded. They're surrounded, and because of what's happening in Palestine or Gaza, however you want to look at it, it's gonna advance. Like people are gonna start. It's gonna become a catastrophic event, man. It's about to get worse. I don't see it getting better. I see it getting worse. And then if America gets involved, our involvement isn't gonna be light. We're gonna do something heavy, especially with the people that's in office right now. Especially with them, the way the Congress is, right, boy. I'm telling you, they're gonna be like, "Yo, hit the button."
What's fascinating is you talked about Hezbollah. Hezbollah is also funded by Iran.
Yeah.
And to talk about Palestinians, the good Palestinian people, those that are good, are pawns in this game, because although Hezbollah is funded by Iran, Iran funds parts of issues with Egypt, all these different countries. The Palestinian people we're still not being allowed to go to these other countries. So these terror cells that Iran funds also understand that they're using the innocent Palestinian people, the 90% of Palestinians that are good, which is why I feel bad for Palestine. But as a nation, as a group, I can't say I stand with Palestine, because fact is, you don't know who's who, and it's just one gigantic war. And the more that we continue to fund it, the more we've gotten to this place where now Iran is stepping in as a nation, not their terror cells. They're as a country, Iran is a terrorist country. I'm going to say that right now. Iranians are a terrorist country, and they are now stepping up, being a whole nation and not just using their terror cells to attack Israel, showing some weak spots. And they have people on the ground with Hezbollah in Egypt and that whole area that's completely funded by Israel or by Iran, that now have access to that area.
Sure.
Yeah, that is all fact, bro. You hit it hard on the head.
Do you guys think that we will be seeing Joe Biden come and address the nation in the next 48 hours?
Come on, man.
100%. He's going to try. He's going to try.
He's going to try. Absolutely. That's what it will be, as an attempt. Do you guys think that
I think he already has? I think there's already been statements from the White House.
He's made statements, but he's going to do a press conference. You better believe
I'm talking like a full-blown press conference addressing the nation, saying,
Can you people watching do me a huge favor? You people, can you hit the like? Can you hit the like and heart button? We've got a lot of people watching and very minimal reactions. I know we're getting a lot of comments, which is great, but I need you guys to hit the thumbs up, hit the heart button.
That would be great. Appreciate
Otherwise,
it, everybody.
Cash stops talking.
Yeah, no. Seriously though, man, if you guys could all hit that like button, hit the share button on this, help us kill the algorithm and get back to where we used to be. You know, it's gradually, have you noticed we've been growing? It's been going pretty good. But we wanted to come on here and just talk to you guys real quick about this, because it's important. Like, this is something that's going to affect. If we think prices are bad right now, inflation is high, can you imagine if World War III starts? Can you imagine how everything is going to go up?
And who controls the bulk of the oil and fuel in the country, especially now that our domestic production has been shut down? If you think, and trust me, you've heard me talk about gas prices. I don't think it's worth talking about. I don't think that's an election issue. Right now, they're going back up. They're up $1 in the last 2.5 months in Texas. If this shit hits the fan, have fun. Glad I've got a hybrid. Maybe that Cybertruck investment might be a good one. I don't know.
Yeah. For sure.
Yes.
Well, I'm thinking about buying a donkey so I can, get around like that. Because, there's a lot of grass everywhere. It'd be cheap to feed. So,
oh man, get a mule instead.
Interesting comment from Joyce. Can you imagine us actually having to go to war during a Biden presidency?
Man, we're gonna have to pray for that, man, y'all. Real talk. We're gonna have, I know it sounds bad, but we got to pray to God to put some kind of wisdom in this man to make him act right, because this is going to be really crazy if he's our commander in chief when all this stuff breaks out, and their administration and the people that are with all the things that they do are running the show. Woo. Good luck, America. Good luck, America.
Yeah. Now, would this be a time for the Democrats? I mean, first off, I think this is, to me, as a conspiracy considerer, I'm not going to say theorist, I'm going to say considerer. To me, they knew that this was happening. They had to know that this was going on. This was happening. So, do I think Biden is in a position to deal with this? Probably, because he's in on the scam, if you ask me. But at the same token, say he's not. Do the Democrats replace do the Democrats replace him? They can't, because Kamala is the second in charge.
I'm about to say, what are they going to do? Put Kamala in? That's not going to help. I have a real deep question. What the hell is going on with our CIA? Where is the CIA at?
It's right here.
Why are they busy investigating Americans and things like that? FBI investigating Americans. Where's the CIA at about these kind of attacks? Like, aren't we supposed to have some kind of intelligence about things like this about to happen, and then prevent it, and then be ready and on standby to, like, put some kind of plan in place to where we destabilize their government? Ain't we them? Aren't we the ones that do that?
No.
Why is Iran even still a thing? Why is Iran? Because I remember under Trump, Iran was broke. They couldn't do nothing. China was broke. China's economy was starting to crumble. All these different nations that was our enemies and our adversaries, they was quiet. And now they are bold underneath this administration. They're bold, bro. They're doing whatever they want to do.
Well, they are, but the thing is the U.S. is being exposed as weak. I just was showing on the screen. This was announced by the U.S. They said Iran is planning to retaliate against Israel, and they don't know when or how, is what the media said. But they expect something to happen, and then all of a sudden, last night happened. So it wasn't unexpected. They knew. And so Israel got either the intel and knew, and then relayed it to us, or vice versa. Now, why does Iran still exist? We don't need to be policing the world. We don't need to be going around the world and turning every country that exists into Afghanistan and Iraq. We don't need to do that. That's not our place.
I'm not saying like that. I mean, destabilize them. I understand what you mean about we're not supposed to police the world, but at the exact same time, we are the police of the world. That's just the way it is, bro. America is that. We can't help that. That's just what it became when we became a superpower, when we became the United States of America. It's just the way it is. We were supposed to be the nation that stands against tyranny. We're supposed to be the nation that stands up against the bullies that try to do the wrong to the people and the world, you know? And I don't know how we've gotten away from that, and it's just become this big ass corrupt money grab.
It's money. I was
Yeah.
going like this. It's money. We are no longer we are still the best country in the world. I still firmly believe that, but we are no longer the moral equivalent of what should be the world police. That ended with Henry Kissinger. I'm sorry. We didn't realize it till now, but that ended with the carpet bombing. That ended with us doing mass killings, which should be considered genocide under the different presidents that listened to Henry Kissinger. As much as I think that you can deem him as an American hero, or you could also deem him as the complete American villain, we are the world police by default at this point. But slowly but surely, we're seeing that we don't belong as the fact is we pay the most money to the UN. We pay the most money to NATO, and somehow we've become the world police. That sounds crooked. That's the same as how pharmaceutical companies pay the news to make sure they don't cover them. So we're essentially paying to be in charge of what we believe is the moral high ground, and we no longer have it. So right now the world is in decay. It's biblical at this point, and we're at a point where we're just letting shit happen. And we should let shit happen.
You're not even lying. You're not even lying. That's the whole truth right there. It's messed up. And the messed up part is that even further, we can't even have the moral high ground anymore because of the shit that we allow to happen in our own country. The laws that are being passed in our own country. We can't even say practice what you preach. It's insane. We're not practicing none of what is being preached about America. We've fallen.
I agree.
But we can get back on track. I believe that. That's why this election is going to be so important if it gets to happen. You know, if we're not in a full-blown world war.
And I'm going to warn people, a Trump presidency is not sunshine and rainbows. It's quite the opposite. I had this conversation with Kelly. I think that if we had Biden or any Democrat for 2024 to 2026, it would be a much smoother couple of years, because they would find a way to inflate it, make it this great place, all these different things, while they slowly subvertly take away our freedoms. Under Trump, I'm going to tell you, I have to be honest, we're going to have a shitty 2024 to 2026, 27, maybe even 28. It's the process of ripping off this Band-Aid of corruption. If Trump is who we hope that he is, if we hope who he is and he gets rid of corruption, there will be mass chaos to try to bring down anything he is trying to do, to get him impeached, to get him removed from the office. And it will then be attacking those that voted for him. We will be in a very ugly place, but it's necessary for us to grow back as a nation.
Well, when we have a corrupt bunch of people sitting inside the Capitol building, it really wouldn't matter about a president. He can only do so much. He can only do so much. He could put some executive orders out there to try to undo some things, true enough, but getting new legislation passed to be able to help fix things, to heal the wound, that's going to be the challenge because of the corruption within the Capitol. So, I mean, yeah, we got our work cut out for us. If you out there right now, you're watching this, if you think that we can get back on track, if you think that Trump is the best the best choice and can do some things to get us back on track, then drop a like. If you think that, I guess that we won't end up like the rest of these nations that fail, you know, that's really, matter of fact, if you think that we're going to end up like a Rome, you know, then drop a heart.
To me, that's what happens with the Biden presidency. It seems it'll be smoother for the first couple of years, but it will eventually destroy every bit of fabric in the United States. We'll be part of a global push. What do you guys think about this quote?
I don't disagree with it.
In some instances, I agree.
So that is what the elitists and the global powers have done, because they've taken all the money, the central banking system, and funneled all of that into war, and they've gone around and forced out all of the big leaders in these other countries and just demolished them and left them in rubble. So yeah, we are just a big gangster going around the world picking whatever nation we want, and we just pick on them.
No,
and
I agree.
We have a long history of doing that. A very long history of doing that.
Some reasons we had that were justifiable in some of them cases, but some were totally not justifiable. It wasn't like the whole Iraq thing was not justifiable. We should have never had no business in Iraq. That's something that made us look really horrible to the world.
You mean there was no weapons of mass destruction? We went in there and pillaged for no reason.
Man, when we destabilized Iraq, it was bad for no reason.
You mean we didn't know what we were doing when we funded Osama bin Laden before? We didn't know that
Russia is now defending Iran.
Well, that's what I was just going to get to. Is Russia raised their defense alerts to the highest level at this point? And so,
who's Russia been working with recently?
I don't know.
China.
No,
we already been.
I didn't think that ever stopped. So
well, right. But I'm saying, so now what does that become? That becomes Russia, China, Iran,
Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog is getting biblical. Gog and Magog. And then the whole thing that's happening right now in Israel, this is why it's scary, bro. If you read the Bible, right? It says that the battle is going to take place in Megiddo. Megiddo is in the Middle East. It's in Israel. All right. And they're having a war right now. They're literally at war. Israel is at war right now. And now you got Iran jumping in. And it talks about all these places. It says that God is going to put hooks in their mouths and drag them into this battle. All these nations are going to assemble against Israel. It's going to be America that stands with Israel. I hope that we do stand. If that all happens, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm going pro-Israel all the way. Even though their government is corrupt, when you have all these different, because let's not mistake it, Russia is a superpower. China can be considered a superpower.
Oh no, the opposite. Russia can be considered a superpower. China is a superpower.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's true.
I want to be clear.
They're going to be standing against a tiny nation, and it's only going to be us and a couple of our allies. Maybe a couple of our allies. I don't even know if our allies are going to really stand with us against, something like that. If
they're required to by the Accord. I mean, NATO will stand with us, but again, they're nothing. It's literally us against them. And where are we at right now? We have the lowest numbers in the history of enrollment and recruitment in our U.S.
That's because they can't put a scope on a gun. Freaking idiots. 2 updates. Israel's version of Air Force One, their doomsday plane, has taken off and left the country.
Are you kidding me?
And then you have Joe Biden will be addressing the nation from the Oval Office today.
Sweet.
Okay, so now I just got goosebumps because I'm probably thinking that we're about to be in a world war.
I don't think we're involved in a world war yet. And again, I don't like being the whole I don't want to be that news broadcaster, that journalist.
Bro, I'm telling you, I don't think we are, but I think we're headed there. I'm telling you.
This is as bad as it's been in a very long time, and because of today's escalation. Once Iran is involved, and it's no longer the terror cells, when it's actually Iran, this is when things get bad.
Sorry for your loss too, Kathy. That's sad to hear about your brother.
I'm sorry, Kathy.
Yo, this is heating up, you guys. I'm getting a little nervous. I'm just gonna pray about it. When I get off here, I ask everybody. I don't care what your faith is, but say a prayer. We need to pray for our country. We need to pray for our simple-minded leaders, and we need to pray for all these other nations that's involved in this. You know, all of them. Even though Iran is, I almost said the R word. Even though Iran is an adversary, they still have civilians like we do. They have people that are just like us over there, and it's not going to be good for them if we get involved. Believe me, we're going to flatten out. We're going to flatten out some nations. That's what's going to end up happening. So put up a prayer for all the world leaders that they can find peace and find a simple solution to this, man, and that doesn't end up with a lot of life being taken, because we've had enough of that, you know. But it looks like it's about to get real for everybody.
And I'll make my last statement in case you can wrap it up. But my last thing that I'm going to say to you is if we make it to the next election, which I do still believe that we will, obviously, the concept, like our speaking points are, will there be a draft again? You know, did Biden's economy, was it, what's that?
You have Scott Pressler calling for a draft right now.
Who's saying that?
Scott Pressler.
Really?
What? I'm about to be with him in 2 weeks. Why?
Says if you're 18 to 25, it's time to visit your local military recruiting office.
Interesting. So at the end of the day, this is the speaking points we need to use, because people point at the economy, and yes, we have inflation. Yes, we've got these issues, but the stock market's good. There's arguable points. You argue one very basic thing: the attack on the First Amendment, which is blatant. There's no way to avoid that. And number two, geopolitically, which is what affects our lives even at home, because again, if your kids are being drafted by warmongers, this is what this, and it's not even warmongers from Biden. It's a sign of weakness. We had such weakness leaving Afghanistan, and the fact that we have shown this presence to the world as no longer not only a superpower, we just look weak. And that sign of weakness, which under Trump, 4 years with no foreign wars, no involvement whatsoever, these are the speaking points we use leading into 2024. Plain and simple. First Amendment rights, and look at what's happening globally and how we are now at risk because of absolute fucking garbage in our White House.
100% agree. That's it. I agree. Casey, anything else?
Just pray for the whole world. Like, everybody needs it at this point. And no one really wins in wars. Wars, it's always loss of civilian lives that is not necessary. And it's for the elitists and the powers that be. And I really hate war.
Yeah. That's all I got. You guys, I agree. Put up a prayer. And if you haven't already, like this video and share this video out. We need you. Hit the like button as many times as you could for us. All right. We're about to sign off. We'll be back if there's any more. Well, I'll be back. I don't know if these brothers got anything to do. If there's anything else going on, we will report back to you. Yeah, you see that right there, Freedom Box Info. If you guys are interested in shopping American and buying American and bringing other people to buying American, yeah. Then go ahead and freedomboxinfo.com. My bad.
No, you're good. Let me jump in real quick. United States and British fighter jets are now scrambling to intercept Iranian drones.
Yep. I'm telling you, this is not going to be a friendly press conference that's about to happen, you guys. I'm going to be on the lookout for it. I love you guys. All right. Casey, Anthony, love you guys. Everybody watching, love you guys. And put up a prayer right now. When we get off here, put up that prayer, man, that's needed. All right. And share this video. I will catch you guys on the next one. Unite, don't fight, be a street like it's only you can be the change you wish to see in the world. And when you get too stressed out, America, you got to remember to pray. Because without God, everything falls apart.
Woo.
Yeah, brother.